Ladies and gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News.
Step into the sand.
This is Macabre Grimoire with Ari Show, Travis Nye, and Robert Mehling.
Hey everybody, welcome to Macabre Grimoire, Chapter 12. I'm your host, Ari Show, here with my co-host, Travis. And Rob.
Hello.
I wanted to sound like I was in that fighter thing.
Yeah, you did. That was really close.
Thanks.
Today we are talking about aliens.
Specifically, we're talking about
the
very recently uncovered apparent successor to Project Blue Book, which, if you aren't familiar, it was the very first legitimate U.S. government looking into UFOs program. And ever since Blue Book, the U.S. government has been like, well, we don't do that thing anymore. We don't track UFOs. We don't investigate that. That's
bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. So this is one that was recently declassified, and the weirdness rabbit hole on this one just gets deeper and deeper as you go. So first off, the program is called the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, and it was basically exposed via a bunch of Freedom of Information Act requests that were put in, it turns out, and then he's made it into a New York Times cover story that was a very big deal in 2017. But here's the deal. The organization, what's even weirder is the organization that filed for these Freedom of Information Act requests that blew this whole thing wide open is run by the frontman for the band Blink-182.
Yes, Travis!
Wait, me?
No, not you, Travis. Other Travis.
So today we're going to explore what do the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, the To the Stars Academy, which in itself is a weird science supervillain cult thing we're going to get into, and then Tom DeLonge, the lead singer for Angels and Airwaves and Blink-182.
I was wrong. It's Tom, not Travis. Because Travis did something else.
Oh,
anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
You're all good.
So definitely was not me.
Definitely
Definitely not.
All right.
So let's see. Where do we begin here? Tom DeLonge is the co-founder and president and interim CEO of an organization called the To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. Now, this entity in itself is pretty wild. It's just a whole bunch of scientists, researchers, engineers, futurist, which, how do you get futurist in your job title? I fucking want that job title. Anyway, and just really, really powerful, influential, and
really is the historian. You could be the futurist if history repeats itself.
Although technically I could be the futurist because I'm the psychic.
There you
go.
So we got two.
Yeah.
Ish.
Now I feel left out.
Well, you could be the futurist because you're
already planning for tomorrow?
Yeah. There you go. That's our hook.
Hey, it's all about to the stars, guys. Looking forward, looking to the future. Future tech. So, anyway, this company, he started it in 2015, and he's primarily engaged in the entertainment sector. Yeah, no shit. His career spans over 2 decades, selling 25 million records worldwide.
Blah, blah, blah. He's awesome.
Yeah. Blink-182, Angels and Airwaves. And then he's also worked with Really Likeable People, which was a parent company of an international consumer lifestyle brands, Atticus Clothing and Macbeth Footwear, etc., etc. He actually has some serious business chops.
Mm-hmm.
He would make a really good, Where Are They Now story.
Well, where are they now? But he's also
where is he?
He's still putting out Blink-182 just put out an album.
What is he doing?
See, this whole world doesn't exist to me. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna look up Blink-182.
Did
That's what I'm going to do.
You need to discover Enema of the State. The all-time best album of theirs from the mid to late 90s.
Okay.
When I was a teenager, that was like the greatest album ever.
It's really
We had
good.
a 10-minute conversation on the Dresch Code the other night with a bunch of musicians about how hot the nurse from the cover of Enema of the State was back in 1995 or whatever. Everyone was talking about what's your favorite album cover of all time, and half the musicians in here were like, Enema of the State.
Nice.
Because of the nurse on the front of it.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a big deal. He's a big deal, and but normally you think celebrity frontman for a rock band or whatever. Okay, so he put together some money and he's got this crazy project or whatever. But if you dig deeper into this, in addition to like blowing wide open like government conspiracy where they are actually actively investigating UFOs, not to mention how weird the UFO footage is in that it, which we are posting links to all these videos that they released, along with the original New York Times article. Just incredible stuff where you hear the aviators being like, what the fuck is that thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what's crazy, so it gets even crazier, is that let's see, what did he call him? He's the head intelligence officer for this organization, this To the Stars Academy. His name is Luis Elizondo, and the part of how he knew to ask for these videos was that he was the head of this advanced aviation group that was in charge of researching it, but he was fed up with all the secrecy and stuff like that and how much the government tried to cover stuff up, so he left that organization and was hired by these guys as a consultant.
Nice.
So now he's like one of their heads of technology. To give you a little background on his career, according to the To the Stars Academy, here's his background. His career was as an intelligence officer whose experience includes working in the United States Army, the Department of Defense, the National Counterintelligence Executive, and the Director of the National Intelligence. As a former special agent in charge, Lewis conducted and supervised highly sensitive espionage and terrorism investigations around the world. As an intelligence case officer, he ran clandestine source operations through Latin America and the Middle East, through the middle of the height of the War on Terror. Wow, okay. Most recently, Lewis managed security for certain sensitive portfolios of the U.S. government as the director of the National Programs for Special Management Staff. For nearly the last decade, Lewis has also ran sensitive aerospace threat identification program focusing on unidentified aerial technologies. Lewis's academic background is in microbiology, immunology, and pastorology.
Parasitology,
thank you.
Welcome.
With research experience in tropical diseases. Lewis is an inventor and holds several patents. So basically it's like, okay, Tom DeLonge, is a pretty talented guy. He's got this guy who's pretty talented. It's like, holy shit, this guy sounds like he could be Tony Stark. And then it gets even crazier.
I can't handle it.
Too much crazy.
Too much crazy.
Too much, Antonio. Too much. Too sexy, Antonio. Okay.
Sorry we lost Robert. We'll be back in just a moment.
Yeah. Robert's lost in a 90s SNL hole again. So here's a list. Here's just some highlights, but they had pages and pages of these people who are like, I swear to God, the janitor at this place must have like 3 PhDs and be like a theoretical physicist. Here's some of the people working there. There's Jim Semivan, who is the vice president of operations. In 2007, he founded a consulting firm called Jim Sem 1. That's very original. And after his retirement as a senior intelligence service member for the Central Intelligence Agency. So lots of spooks in this organization. Primarily worked as a consultant for the intelligence community on classified topics, including leadership training, tradecraft, countering weapons of mass destruction. He was also retired from the Central Intelligence Agency's Directorate of Operations after 25 years as an operations officer, both overseas and domestically. Okay, so that's a holy shitload of connected.
It's like he named his company after his first screen name.
It is. You think Jim Sem was taken? So that
it was Jim Sem1 at AOL.com. And then he was like, what's the name of the company? Jim Sem1 sounds pretty good.
Of course, being as he's been in the intelligence services so long, he probably killed the guy that invented AOL and then gave it to the guy that actually took credit for it on behalf of the government. Dun, dun, dun.
What?
So, next we've got Hal Puthoff, Vice President of Science and Technology, because this place clearly doesn't have enough science. Since 1985, he served as President and CEO of Earth Tech International, Director of the Institute of Advanced Studies in Austin, published numerous papers on electron beam devices, lasers, space propulsion, and has patents issued in lasers, communications, and energy fields. So,
Dang.
like I said, we keep moving further and further into like Bond villain Tony Stark territory here.
Yeah.
His professional background spans more than 5 decades of research at General Electric, Starry, the National Security Agency, Stanford University, SRI International, just like a who's who of organizations that work on clandestine, DARPA initiative kind of like stuff. Corporations, foundations on leading edge of technology. Yeah, no shit. And future technology trends.
So where do these people get their money to pay themselves for this? Is this...
Right now they're like in an angel investor phase, but they are actually selling, like, you can invest on it on their website, which I'm guessing that's part of the shtick or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Is that, like they just had their, like, IPO in Texas, and then in another state they're going to roll out an IPO where you can buy shares of the company and stuff like that. And it's going to put out crazy tech and research UFOs and put out albums. I mean, it's like the most ridiculous company, and you'd think it was just insane, like the dumbest thing ever, except for, it's like you've got people who are literally like inventing antimatter weapons over here, being like, look what I can do. It's like, okay, shit. So I'm guessing angel investors are just like, shut up and take my money.
Don't kill
This is awesome. I want my name on it.
Yeah. Exactly. They want to own a piece of the guy that invents transporters or something.
Yeah,
Pretty
right.
much.
So just a few more, or actually one more interesting person here. This Steve Justice, who's the aerospace director for the company. Let's see. He's tasked with leading their effort to examine the possibilities of emerging sciences and technologies. This team will work to define advanced systems, exploring radical technologies, prototypes, and promising concepts, and develop operational systems that shatter conventional thinking. He entered the defense aerospace industry in 1978 after graduating from the Georgia Institute of Technology. Pretty aerospace engineer.
Yeah.
Let's see. After 31 years, he just retired as program director of the Advanced Systems for Lockheed Martin Advanced Development Programs, better known to, aviation nerds like me as Skunk Works. Skunk Works is the little think tank that invented stealth technology, among many other things. Yeah. They got their name from a little Abner cartoon that had a skunk that was precocious or something back in the 60s or whatever, when they started working on the Blackbird and stuff like that.
Yeah, my aunt actually used to work on stealth fighters in Texas.
Awesome.
Just out of Fort Worth, I think. So she has a whole bunch of pictures and stuff of actually being in there working on those. It was really cool to see those.
I'll bet. Yeah. So. The reason I had to share that background was, for me, I hear Skunk Works and immediately I'm just like, holy shit. Okay.
You already know.
Yeah, just if there's anyone on Earth, let's do the long shot here and say that the government actually has captured UFO parts and is incorporating them into secret experimental aircraft, Skunk Works would be the guys who are actually working on that.
Nice.
It's the very cutting edge of aviation
So he
technology.
knows why we have cell phones.
Exactly. he knows that it's Andorian technology that allows us to have cell phones.
Yes. See, I told you.
And then their director of global security, of course, is the Louis Elizondo, the guy we were just talking about, who blew wide open the whole advanced aviation group.
Oh, wow.
So I feel like I've been talking really fast and talking a bunch.
So in a nutshell, all these guys got together and, Tom, this is what I know. What do you want us to do at it? And he just says, throw some science on it.
Yeah, throw money and science at crazy, crazy shit.
I like it.
I love it, yeah. And so we've linked to the website on here. So it's there's a lot to unpack here, because it's even ignoring the crazy celebrity science academy / music project that is the To the Stars, the Academy. this story would be worth us talking about alone, just from the fact that, holy shit, the government really is like researching UFOs like as recently as 2013 and going, what the fuck is this? We have no idea. We need to get on this and figure out what's going on.
Yeah. I like it.
You know, so many of our UFO accounts and stuff like that, as I've been doing research for future episodes, it's like so much of it is like its heyday was really the 50s, the 60s, and 70s. And you get some really interesting ones in the 80s and 90s, but they're much fewer and far between than in the, the halcyon days of the UFO.
I think what I like about this one is that it doesn't, like, automatically do the Green Man thing,
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it's like, this is what we know, and this is...
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it's not trying to take off and put theory behind it, really.
Which is, is something I like. Like, there were some viral videos when I was researching, or not viral videos, but videos talking about media response to it. And so, a lot of them trying to play out, they try to take, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson quotes, and they always try to make it like, Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't like X, or doesn't like Y.
Yeah.
And then you see the actual quote, and he's just like, no, he's just being reasonable about it, and he doesn't ever say, I don't like this, or it's stupid, or anything like that. That's them feeding words into his mouth. But there were a bunch of them for this one that was like, Neil deGrasse Tyson shuts down the Tom DeLonge's stupid UFO videos. And all he said was, he's like, if Tom DeLonge has got aliens, bring them to Times Square. He's like, but in the meantime, he's like, I'm glad the government is investigating it if it's an unknown phenomenon.
Right.
But, Tom DeLonge's not claiming they're aliens.
No.
That I know of. I did not get a chance to watch the whole... he did an episode with Joe Rogan where he did like a 4-hour long... Joe Rogan episodes are always like ridiculously long. And so I think he might have said a few things on there that were part of why Neil deGrasse Tyson chimed in about... show us the little green men or whatever.
Right.
But as far as I can tell, his organization is not saying little green men. They're just saying aerial vehicles that we know nothing about and they have technology we don't have.
Right.
Yeah. Like, look at this interesting thing we saw. Isn't it cool? Moving on. Like, that's kind of how I feel.
Oh, there it is again. 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and does it make it weirder and make it more feel like it's something sinister that the government is always like, nothing to see here, this is nothing, this is absolutely nothing. It's like, no, seriously, I'm watching it, it is really something.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Even if it's swamp gas off Jupiter or whatever, there's something happening here that's interesting.
Right.
And the government's like, nope, shut it down, nope.
Was that a Men
Yeah.
in Black quote?
Yes, that was a Men in Black quote.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is based on an actual explanation they once gave for a UFO, was that it was swamp gas. Yeah,
Nice.
That was a common one in the 60s or 70s. That in this one area where they were like will-o'-the-wisps, which we'll get to do an episode on, that are like the lights you see out
Oh, yeah.
in the bayous and the swamps and stuff that then disappear, and they're supposed to be these ghostly spirits that lure people to their deaths and get them lost in the Everglades and stuff. The claim for those is that those are swamp gas. So
Okay.
those are like light emanating
It's
from...
that pesky swamp gas, man.
Yeah.
Gets me every time.
Swamp gas. I just can't stand it though when it's like, I feel like we're, fairly level-headed individuals and we can see something with our own eyes and know, and it's like, okay, I'm clearly seeing something. I'm observing this real time, and the government's like, nope, you didn't see it. Didn't happen. Nope, just move on. It's like, why? Why are you so concerned with ushering us along and telling us to forget about it, and that we, like, what is, there's obviously... it's something huge, and if you didn't want us to pay so much attention to it, then why don't you just entertain us with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let it ride out rather than saying, forget about it. Because, just telling us to forget about it is just going to make us want to pick at it more,
And we talked about this in an episode that by the time this is out will have aired, where we talked a little bit with the Flatwoods Monster about, was it 52 was the year?
That sounds right, yeah.
Where just UFO stuff was just going
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. And did we get it all into the fact that the CIA really started to feel like maybe this was the whole thing was a psyops against the U.S. to create panic?
I think we touched
Yeah.
on it a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, I think maybe that's still part of their mentality, and why they do operate the way they do is that they're like, well, this is, not healthy for the public to get too wrapped up into this, and it causes panic and mistrust of the government and stuff, and just,
Right.
I don't know, but that seems like such a, obsolete Cold War. But of course I say that, and I'm just like, I'm sure there's lots of things in the government that the government does that are obsolete and Cold War-esque.
Right.
Just because that's the way they've always done it.
Right, yeah. I mean, and maybe they know a little bit more than we do as far as, if they were to say, yes, this is real, we don't know what it is, it's possibly alien intelligence, blah, 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 it might incite mass panic, and maybe that's what they're trying to head off, is just this mass panic that, by the way, we have these entities that are visiting our planet, and there's nothing we can do about it.
We need to have a warm welcome. We're going to have a parade.
Yeah.
Make some pies.
We attention all humans, we need to welcome our handsome new overlords.
What was that? What was that radio broadcast that just threw
War of the Worlds?
Yes.
Yeah. Why didn't I know that?
That gets into the actually the intro to our show. That, ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this broadcast. That is, I took that from the Library of Congress recording of the War of the Worlds. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And if you're not familiar with the War of the Worlds, it was a radio broadcast that came on, and people thought it was legit, but what it actually was I don't know what they're called. I don't know the right word for it,
but it was an audio drama. Yeah,
put
on by the Theater of the Air.
Yep.
Which at the time was run by, and this was all written by and a big chunk performed by a young Orson Welles, and this helped put him on the national map as far as celebrity.
Not the Tom Cruise version of War of the Worlds.
No, not that. We're talking about old school, the original.
Yeah. So. Which is funny, because to them that was old school, because it was written by H.G. Wells, so by the time they performed it and made their own Americanized version of it, it had already existed for 50 years.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know.
I mean,
thinking I just want to confirm, yes, there's aliens, so then I don't sound crazy when I talk about aliens. You know what I mean? That's all I want, so I don't sound crazy. But because other people would be crazier than me and go absolutely berserk, I can't have aliens.
Yeah, this is why we can't have nice things. Yeah. The government can't trust us with this information because they're afraid we'll all go crazy and start killing each other.
Right.
But it's just can you just whisper it to the smart people that oh yeah, we know about this. This is aliens. That they're cool. We hang out on Labor Day weekend and stuff at Area 51. There's a big barbecue.
Just don't tell Crazy Steve.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I will keep it under wraps so Crazy Steve doesn't get crazier. But thank you for validating me.
Yeah.
I just want to be validated.
So do we think they're alien? Do you think? We've talked several episodes now, and we haven't covered the broad topic of aliens.
Sure.
Do you think aliens are aliens? There's several there's lots of theories about, are they aliens that are in the classic sci-fi sense, they're beings from another world that are traveling here by a spaceship? Do you think they're alien as in they are outsiders from another dimension? Mm-hmm. Do you think that they are time travelers, the whole they're us super evolved from the future, and that's why the Greys have a humanoid kind of form?
That's where that classification comes for futurist.
Yep.
Yeah, he's actually one who has traveled back from the future.
Exactly. And then another option that is out there is that people have been seeing lights in the sky and strange beings that, tell them things, like angels, spirits, stuff like that.
Sure.
And so there's a really popular on YouTube theory that the aliens are actually demons or the Nephilim or something like that. And they just change their appearance to go with whatever time period
it's like Bumblebee on Transformers.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a lot of options.
So, okay, I have a whole nother theory.
Okay.
I kind of do too, so you go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is actually one about the whole human evolution and what we actually are. And I actually had this discussion with a couple of my buddies. It was 4 a.m, and we're just talking crazy, and I'm like, what if we were actually the center of a nucleus or a cell, and everything around us is actually, like, we're actually inside of something larger. Like, imagine we're like a cell inside of a human body controlling one function, and that is our purpose on life, is to continue the Earth and our daily chores to make sure everything functions properly. So all these other planets that we know about are actually other cells operating something even bigger than we know about.
I've had that thought.
Yeah. So these aliens that we see are actually just
Other organisms coming in and checking us out, making sure we're staying in line.
making sure we good.
They're like a cosmic mitochondria floating past.
Yep.
It's a possibility.
I'm saying.
I mean, I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes.
Yeah, like, that's why I do good every day, because I don't want my dude to die. So then I failed us all.
How do we know it's not a dude?
In the general terms, it's like calling the car a she. Come on.
Sorry, I had to get
It's
on
all right.
that.
It's why you're here.
It's why I'm here. So I've been listening to this documentary series called fudge, I just forgot it. It's
That
with
is a weird name for
No, it's by Ruben Langdon. He talks to people that channel extra dimensionals. Oh, interview with the ED. So these are people that channel
with erectile dysfunction. Sorry. Sorry. The sophomoric joke is out of my system. Please continue.
There you go.
Thank you. So we actually should cover EDs.
Now I envision this guy as like the diabetes guy.
No. So he's actually really cool. Anyways, but he has like this several part series on extra dimensionals, and there's many different theories on what's actually on Earth with us. But basically, it's a combination of a bunch of different things. So imagine like there's billions and trillions, zillions, whatever, a bunch of different souls that exist in the spirit realm. All those different souls have different places to go as far as like different planets and different systems, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we as souls, as we evolve, we decide that we want to incarnate here on Earth because Earth is one of the hardest places to incarnate because of its density, because of its environment, because of just the socioeconomic status of Earth as a whole. So we decide to incarnate here on Earth to experience what Earth is like, to help our souls evolve to a higher state. So people who incarnate on Earth want to basically evolve higher up as a soul, and Earth is one of the fastest ways to do it because it's so difficult and just because of all the lifetimes you have to go through to incarnate. So
that whole thing sounds like BS, except for it does bring me comfort to think that the reason life sucks so much is that I'm playing on extra hard or extreme difficulty mode.
So are you saying like Elon Musk is just like, dang, I chose the wrong planet, I gotta go?
Maybe, but so I'm continuing on.
All right.
So we have all existed on different planets and have different experiences, but then at some point we decide as a soul that we're going to incarnate here on Earth. So basically, some of us have these other experiences on different planets, which is why a lot of us maybe have a lot of different theories on how life should work. But we also, so these individuals who can channel these extra dimensionals explain that there are many different alien races that are on Earth right now. And basically, Earth is a place where we kind of battle it all out. So if you think about how there's so much conflict in like other countries across this, overseas, how there's conflict here within just like America, it's basically we're trying to work our way through all these conflicts that we've been kind of repeating generation after generation after generation, and we're trying to see if the next generation can do better than that. So if you think about it in like a Star Wars terms of like how the international galactic or whatever, like all the senators get together, like all those like alien races coming together in that big like auditorium, like trying to come to terms with like certain rules and laws and stuff like that. That's kind of like how Earth is kind of playing out right now. So it's kind of an interesting way to kind of put on it, like to kind of think about it. I don't know if I entirely believe that, but
You don't say.
But it is a theory.
But it's a theory. But I also think that there's definitely there's not a lot, but I think that there are possibly like some alien beings living amongst us already. I don't know for sure. I think it's possible. I don't know, but I'm not saying like, oh, there definitely is. Like, I'm not like all the way into the crazy yet. So I forgot where I was going with this, but basically,
Your first
There's
theory.
ghost aliens everywhere.
there's ghost aliens everywhere. We're all ghost aliens. That's my summary.
See, your first theory that you started going with almost got me to start thinking about the Matrix,
But it kind of
right? And
So-
so
What
like
you're laying out really reminds. It started out reminding me of.
it's
like,
really deep. It's a
Hinduism.
real deep dive.
Now it's reminding with the whole reincarnating and coming
Yeah.
back to get to a higher plane.
Yeah.
But now it's really reminding with the alien ghost babies thing is really reminding me of
Sixth Sense.
no I lost my train of thought. Scientology.
Oh,
Because that's what they believe is the Phaetons are basically these aliens that were executed
Scientology is
on Earth.
bullshit.
But you just laid out a theory that is
I know nothing
totally
about
Scientology.
Sure. But I mean, but that's not like 100% like what I believe. It's just kind of like what kind of
Cool.
I've read a lot about. And I totally forgot what the question was because I just got going.
Scientology, aliens.
No, the first thing.
Hinduism.
Whoa,
Matrix.
way back.
Yeah, we have to rewind it back. I kind of lose track of what I'm talking about.
Theories on what aliens are.
Oh, so okay.
The purest form of all questions.
So, in a nutshell, I do think that there are, like, aliens out there. I think they probably look close-ish to us because of just how, like, the carbon-based beings can arrange their cells. I don't know. I think they can exist in many different ways as energy forms or as, I don't know. But
Evolution.
yeah, I think it's...
Alien evolution.
I think it's just a bunch of different things, but I definitely think that they're out there. I think that they're here. And I think that we all have a little bit of alien in our souls. I don't know. It's a really like weird dive on a probably a simple question, but we should really talk about extra dimensionals, and maybe I won't seem so crazy.
All right, we're gonna start talking about ED here pretty
We're
soon.
talking about ED real soon.
I think
This episode we're just going to talk about ET.
that's just gonna be clickbait. And people are like, what are they talking about ED for?
I'm so sorry.
Is that a myth?
I didn't mean
Is that just
to.
an
I should
excuse?
have kept my answer simple. I had to do it. I couldn't help it.
So you had mentioned, you'd said the War of the Worlds quote, Men in Black quote, and it got me thinking that one of the things I really like, and we had talked about this one, the cameras and technology and stuff, being able to see more and actually just go by what we've seen and not just run with it. One of the Men in Black quotes that I actually like a lot, and that kind of goes with this, with actually having technology and being able to see these things more, was when he said that 1,500 years ago everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago everybody knew the Earth was flat. 15 minutes ago you knew humans were alone, and imagine what we'll know tomorrow. So that's pretty cool. The more technology we have, the more we know.
Right.
Because we would have never known the Earth was round without having technology to see it.
Right.
So getting
Although
more
the
and more
world
advanced.
the world not being the center of the universe is a good example. The world being flat thing is not a good example because that we've actually known that since Euclid. The whole people thinking the world is flat is actually a relatively modern invention.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, what about you? What do you think aliens are?
Let's see. I don't know what the UFOs we're seeing are now. My best guess is they're either some kind of atmospheric phenomenon, or I think they're dimensional. I don't think we're being visited by aliens that can travel between the stars. There's something that's preventing that, and I don't know what yet, because it seems like, there's a whole bunch of different videos of different Kardashev level alien civilizations, and how basically in the last umpteen billion years, if a civilization that hopped from planet to planet existed, it would have consumed the galaxy by now, before we even came into being.
True.
But as far as we can tell, everything is completely empty. So what the hell?
Do you think it's they keep the kids so far apart that you can't touch each other, so just leave each other the fuck alone? That's why we're so far apart from other planets?
I don't know if anyone planned it that way. I am kind of wondering if that's effectively how it works, just because the distances in space are so vast.
Right.
So it's like
that-
two magnets. Like,
'Cause
you don't
you-
want to get them close.
You know that if we could see if we could have contact with another planet, I'm being really, really dirty right now. But you know, the first thing that we would start do is like, well, let's see if we can fuck them. Let's see if we can make something out of them. Like, let's get their animals. Let's get their people. Let's just fuck it all up, because that's the first thing that people start. I can't. I just think that that's what we would do.
I'm only laughing because it's like totally true.
I know.
It's just like people are like, what happened to the Neanderthals? Did we wipe them out? Well, based on the DNA of like a third of Europeans, pretty sure we fucked them out of existence.
Yeah. That's exactly what we would start doing. Like, well, I don't know. We're going to get weird with it. Let's just start. We would want to start having sex with them because we just want to see what can happen.
I want to know who the first one would be and like who drew the short straw. Like,
I don't think there would be a short straw. I think there would be a line of people being like, yeah, I'll fuck that.
Yep.
Yep, let's do this.
It's weird.
That's why we are the like race that conquered this planet.
Because, like, there is, like, another planet that they discovered that has Earth-like qualities. It's really super far away. But, like, so the likelihood of us ever being able to travel to it, but I think there's some, like, divine, like, being that controls all of this that's just like, no, you guys are going to be so fucking far away apart from each other that there's no way you're going to be able to survive even getting to the other planet. Because all you're going to do, you're just going to fuck each other.
It kind of goes into the anecdote or the joke, this is why aliens don't stop here kind of thing whenever you find something dumb on the
Yes.
internet. It makes me think of, what's the thing? There's a classic short story called They're Made of Meat.
Oh.
And it's, like, PBS did it as like a radio drama kind of thing, just a short, like, little 10-minute skit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But basically it's like this alien scout talking back to his leader or whatever about, okay, so scanning this system, holy shit, what? Okay, so I found a planet, and there's intelligent life here. It's like, oh, really? Okay, begin the first contact protocol. It was like, no, Bob, you don't understand. They're made of meat. well, you mean they're like the Dexadels, where they're like part meat, part cybernetic? No, Bob, no. They're made out of meat. They communicate by like moving air through pieces of meat and then smacking two pieces of meat in the front together, and they're all they do is just like flap around their meat. It's horrifying, and they're just like, Jesus Christ, they're made of meat. And so there's no swearing in it, but
Sure.
But in the end, after having the few minutes discussion about just how disgusted they are and how weird that is that they're made of meat, they're like, so do I start the first cut? You know what, Bob? We didn't find anything on the third planet of this system. We're moving on. It's like, you know what? You're right. That's way less paperwork than whatever the hell's going on down there. So then they just leave the solar system and just mark it as uninhabited.
Nice. I did like your theory, though, that maybe like drones have been sent here to scope out what's going on, because I don't think anything could survive possibly unless there's interdimensional travel where they can pass through dimensions. And that's my thing.
If there really are aliens and they're like abducting and they're doing all the stuff we claim they're doing, then they're interdimensional. I don't think they're interstellar. Because if anybody's got the ability to travel, and this is something we've learned more recently about, as we've learned more about how many planets are out there and all the different compositions of their atmospheres and stuff, is that people talk about like, well, the aliens are coming for our water. It's like, there's water all over space, and like one comet could give you like everything you need. So why would you come fight it out with an intelligent species to take their water?
Yeah.
It's not rare at all, actually. And it's like rare earth metals. There's more of those in space than there are on Earth. Just et cetera, going on about just like coming here for resources and conquering just because the vast distances doesn't make sense. If you've got the technology to get between the stars, you already have the whole like getting materials thing from space totally figured out.
Right.
So there's no point.
If anything, you're just coming here to like check us out and see what it's all about. It's just more research purposes.
That's one of the arguments, is that the only like resource that they might like one thing I've seen before, like on the Discovery Channel, was that presented like a hypothetical alien invasion and what how governments would respond and stuff like that. And in that one, they were like the best theory they could come up with for why aliens would actually do that, even though they were kind of like, we don't think they would.
Right.
Would be complex carbon, and chlorophyll are things that are on Earth that we've never seen on any of the exoplanets and stuff like that. So it's like, so basically like complex proteins. So basically meat and chlorophyll are things that Earth has in abundance that aren't anywhere else. So that might be a resource that they would be after, which is terrifying. Yeah.
So yeah, they would actually be coming for us.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. Not the planet, just us.
Yeah.
That makes me feel so hot right now. Like, I feel so wanted. It's amazing. I've never felt so wanted before.
But yeah, so
yeah,
that's.
But yeah, if they could already come here, they would just. I mean, you'd already know, and they'd be fucking shit up left and right because that's exactly what we would do.
Yeah.
But I also think too, like, a lot of people want to relate it to things that they already know and understand. Because if I get in my car and I drive to Brookings, that's how I know how to travel from point A to point B. So we would logically think, well, if I'm going to get in my spaceship, I'm going to actually fly from point A to point B because that's the only way I understand right now is from getting from one place to another is I have to physically go there. Whereas aliens who understand interdimensional travel, it's like, no. You don't need to do that at all. What you need to do is you need to raise your vibrational level from like alpha to like zeta or whatever.
Wait,
and then
is this legit? Do I need to write this down?
Yeah, write it down, man. Okay. And then you can go from basically point A to point B, but it's not even going. It's actually you just flip and you're there. You know. Yeah. So that's
you're folding space.
You're folding space. Yeah.
Creating some kind of Heisenberg.
You're going into the upside down.
Einstein-Rosenberg bridge between the points or something. Yeah.
That's like the Big Bang Theory when Leonard asks Sheldon, he's like, do you ever think you'll invent time travel? And he waits for him and he's like, no, because I would have came back to this moment right here to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, I love that joke.
Yeah, that's what Stephen Hawking did about that. He said he settled time travel once and for all because he put on this giant party to celebrate the arrival of a time traveler, and so he advertised it, and they like carved it in stone all over the place.
Oh, nice.
This date and this time, Stephen Hawking will be throwing a party for any potential time travelers.
Nice.
And nobody showed up, so he's like, so time travel's not real.
Aww. It's sad.
I'm kind of glad though, because that's the one thing I think that people miss out on time travel. Like if you travel to the past,
right?
First off, if you interacted with anything, because like I was talking with Amanda about her show she likes and books, Outlander, where she travels into the past, and I'm just like, well, let's see.
You spoil it for her, don't you, bro?
I do, because I'm like, well, the super bugs that she would be carrying would mean that she would basically be a Typhoid Mary who would bring instant death to like 2/3 of the world's population like immediately. And the whole time she was there, she would have permanent diarrhea because her body wouldn't be able to handle the bacteria in the food.
True.
Stuff like that, which when you think about those challenges and then think about what it'd be like for an alien interacting with us, that's what I don't get. It's like, so the Greys or whatever don't need like spacesuits or something to that effect. Like the aliens you hear about, just like little creatures or whatever. It's just kind of like, I would think they'd really, really need like spacesuits and stuff.
Right.
All right. So put that in my notes. If I travel back in time, take a few extra pair of undies
and some Imodium.
And some what?
Because you are
Imodium, AD.
What is that?
That helps to stop you from pooing if you have diarrhea.
I guess I've never really wanted to close that door, so.
Oh, I have.
Wow.
Sorry.
Well, that was an unexpected turn.
This is probably the most intimate chapter we've recorded.
I don't know if intimate is the right word. Just maybe the TMI edition.
Well, we did just talk about my personal garments, so.
Yeah. Just so remember, kids. If you're time traveling, you're going to be shitting your pants a lot if you move back in time. If you move forward in time, I'm not sure how it's going to work. If you're just going to be able to have to like eat lasers or something, I don't know.
I know, but you can always find me, and I will always have a pharmacy in my purse. So
there you go.
I got your Imodium. Just come find me.
Yeah, and so now we know who our supplier is for Imodium AD.
Yeah.
An official sponsor of Macabre Grimoire this week.
Street pharmacist. That's your new calling.
That is my new calling.
So, in conclusion, this is what happens when rock band frontmen set up organizations to investigate the paranormal.
The world poops itself in time travel.
Yeah.
And fucks everything.
And humans fuck everything. That's the so our main bullet points are rock stars are science geniuses who can find UFOs. Time travelers are constantly crapping themselves, but they got Ari's Imodium AD, so they're okay. And humans will fuck absolutely anything. Those are the end. Good capstone on that episode. Thank you for listening this week, everybody, and we will catch you next time.
Macabre Grimoire is a production of theSueEmpire.com. Learn more at macabregrimoire.com.